Hello everyone and welcome. Yes, my name is Arafat on a blisteringly hot British day here, and welcome back to one more episode of Look Out and Shout, because I've got something I would like to show to you, and I promise I'm going to try not to mark out so much on this one. Try. Anyway, today we will be reviewing Cang Toys double pack, although we're not going to do both reviews today, we are just going to do one of them. This is the CHIYOU-04 and 07 Kinglion and Darius, not the guy from Pop Idol or whatever it was, not to be confused. Could be, maybe, we haven't seen him for a while, maybe it is him. But anyway, today we are looking at the masterpiece offering of Razorclaw, and this, I mean, their boxes, they spend more time on their boxes now than anything else. It's great, it's huge. Look at that. That's ridiculous, and I thought Dive Bomb was bad. It's, again, lovely box. Look at that lovely artwork on the front. Nice on the side, nothing on the back this time. Interesting, just a black box. But it looks nice inside. One thing I just wanted to point out, and it's a very small thing to point out, they've got Cang Toys logo on the stickers, which is very much a Fans Toys thing. And I think this is where we're starting to see a bit of production now from Cang Toys. We're starting to see a bit of attention to detail and attention to care. And they make their boxes look very nice. They make the interior look very nice. So why not a little bit of sellotape as well? So again, we're going to be looking at some lovely black polystyrene. And this is deep. This box is deep for a reason. So that's what you get. Obviously, I've taken the figures out. Now, I think it's quite telling when you get a little skeleton silhouette of the figure to keep the figure in, as you can actually see the imprints of Razorclaw's feet into the polystyrene. It shows you how heavy this figure could be, or at least how dense. Within that, this front section, if I take it out, actually shows you that it houses the Razorclaw figure and the Darius figure in robot mode as well. Razorclaw sits here, Darius sits here, and a couple of accessories there. But we're not done. So obviously, of course, it comes with the instructions, a very nice booklet, very deep booklet, because of course it's going to show you how it gets into robot mode, alt mode, combined mode, and then the same for Darius as well. Comes with collector's cards, which I've yet to open, but for both of them, Darius and Razorclaw. But then as you go deeper into the box, you find this thing. And this was presented really, really well. These are the two shoulder cannons for Razorclaw that he predominantly will wear in Lion mode, in Beast mode, but does also wear in Robot mode, and also will form part of Predacons shoulder cannons, I would assume. And there is the whopping great axe. I say again, whopping great axe. That is going to be his main weapon. When you see that all very nice and presented in there, I wish I did a live unboxing for you to see my reactions. I completely was like a kid at Christmas. So yeah. Presentation wise, Cang Toys, you know how to do a box, I'll give you that. Now obviously Razorclaw is one of my favourites, some of you know that. I can't wait to look at it. Let's get on with it. And here is Kinglion in his robot mode and all Super Saiyan'd up, shall we say. And I'll be honest, the turntable is struggling with the weight. It wants to jitter. There's a lot of kibble on this guy, yes. But it's good kibble. I'm happy with the kibble. It's just glorious. It's nothing short of mesmerising. You feel like you're picking up a piece of jewellery, a crown jewel, something from a forgotten treasure. It's so incredibly well presented. One of the most well presented figures I've ever seen. In as much as everything is so meticulously done, the detailing, the paint application is faultless. I have not come across one scuff mark. I have not come across one bit that's missing. You think, oh, there's a bit, then you think, no, that's meant to be like that. It's just absolutely stunning to look at. It really is a work of art in that sense. Now, I'm not saying I've assembled this correctly, because when he came in the box, these shoulder cannons weren't applied, and actually he came with two other things, which I'll just get here, which are these, which were more, shall we say, discreet, and they would sit back there, and I'll apply them in a bit, you'll see what I mean, or I'll certainly put some photos up at the end. But to put them all on, and that's very much going to be part of the Lion mode as well, it gives them a much more of an arsenal look. These are shoulder cannons that are clearly going to be Predacons shoulder cannons as well. And it doesn't look too out of place on Razorclaw, very much that they're moulded in the same colour and the same style. But I was concerned when I saw the designs that it will make them look very back heavy. It's not to say they're small, but I don't think it really strikes him as overpopulated or busy around the back. He's going to have this tail bit anyway, so what's a couple of extra big shoulder cannons? It just looks fantastic. I think they really have... They've set out their stall. This is clearly stylized. This is definitely not G1, and this is very much a Cang Toys feature, what they want to go down, but I just think they've really knocked it out of the park in this one. No, it is not a G1 Razorclaw, but you can tell it's Razorclaw. We still got the lion chest. The head sculpt is much the same. The light piping on this works best I've ever seen of all of them so far. But anyway, I could keep talking about this. Let's get in for a closer look. Now, I've actually zoomed in a bit here so you can see what I mean by some of this gorgeous detailing. In camera, this looks like a very soft, dirty gold, and I thought that when I saw some other reviews, such as Kato, who did a very good review on this recently, but in hand it's really not. It really is quite a strong gold. It really looks like a gold bar more than anything else. But the head sculpt, I don't know if the light piping's really going to show it, but there is very good character to the figure. Bits do get in the way, but they are relatively posable, relatively movable. I would say as well, stability is not an issue. Despite all that back kibble, it stands very well on some very good ankle joints. If I can actually get it in shot, the feet are very good, very thick, very sturdy. The legs in general are very good as well. And one thing I have noticed, and it's early days, but I'll say it, the squeakiness on this figure doesn't appear to be as prominent. Maybe with the shoulder cannons when you try and move them, but what Cang Toys would know, and what a lot of people know, certainly I've explained on my videos before, that when you move some joints, some shoulders or whatever else, the squeakiness would be very prominent and very disconcerting. On this figure, from what I found so far, the squeakiness is nowhere near as much here. And this is where I feel Cang Toys have honed in their craft with this figure. They've learned from their previous releases what works and what doesn't. And this is where they've arrived. One thing I'll say, and I think Kato mentioned this as well on his review, is that shoulder clearance can be a little awkward because of the mane and the shoulder cannons at the back. The shoulders will move. Very tough joints, but they will move, but they will obstruct eventually. But it's not to say that movement isn't there. Bend at the elbow, fingers are really good, wrist movement as well, don't always see that. And you get individual finger articulation as well. So all in all, you really can't ask for much more than that. Leg articulation, very good joints. Interesting hard ratchets for the knees and soft ratchets on the hip. More frictions, not even ratchets. So maybe that is more with the transformation in mind, but I really can't fault it for holding everything together. He really does not feel like he's going to break. He just looks fantastic. You can even move the little mouth for lion mode. I just think it adds an extra dimension of character. You do get the horn that you can put on there to make it look a bit more Zoid-like, I suppose. I'm not a fan of that. I've left that off in this occasion, but it's something that you can do. We've got a little bit of waist rotation as well, but it will interact with some things like the hip skirts around it. It will obstruct them somewhat. So there is a little bit of obstruction issues here, but it's not to say it's badly designed, or for what it has, the movement is really exceptional. You can get it into some very good poses. But one thing I do want to show you is this. The ridiculously big, massive axe and how he's going to hold it. And I'll say this straight away, it doesn't cause him to droop. Would you believe? See for yourself. And just look at that. Now, I'll say what this does is really good. It has groove that the fingers slot in. Once you get the fingers in, it then has a typical peg that tabs into the palm of the hand, and then whilst you're through the groove or the holster, if you like, of the axe, the fingers then keep it trapped in from the front side and almost clamp it down. It's like an added grip, and I think that's brilliant. I can't believe why we haven't seen that before with other figures. It just gives you, it's not putting everything on the peg, because we've seen pegs don't always hold, they don't always marry up. If nothing else, if the peg doesn't hold, at least you feel the grip is going to hold. But for what is a very big axe, that is really impressive that it doesn't cause any drooping of the figure, and that is testament to the tolerances on this figure. They've thought about this. You can tell. You can get it into good poses. There's no droopiness on the friction on the elbow or even the wrist and what is a very small joint. And you see, I'm not resting it against his leg or anything. That's holding on its own. Now, granted, it's not exactly made of die cast, but that's a lot of plastic that is taking one-handed. And that could so easily have gone wrong and docked this figure points, but it didn't. If I'm to be mega picky, Razorclaw always had a sword rather than an axe. If I'm being picky, I would have liked it to have been a sword. But, you know, this is clearly going to be, I would guess, the base of the sword for Predacon. I'm guessing this is what Predacons actually going to hold on to. So how big is this Predacon going to be? It's going to be huge. But I can understand, I can see what they're doing. I like the way they're going. And I do think they need to be commended for this, for having weapon storage on his back and on his one hand, for there to be no droopage whatsoever. That's pretty damn impressive. And I guess this is the only other feline I had to hand. Here he is alongside Masterpiece, Takara Masterpiece, Beast Wars Cheetor, both of the cat family, and both considered Masterpiece. I'll say that again, both considered Masterpiece, even though he's at least 2 Cheetors big. This is a whole new definition of cat for scale. But perhaps this is one we should more focus on. So this is, of course, a Rampage, the first figure in the line, the first one I reviewed, and now the latest one that's come out. And I think you can see a difference, and I think this is going to lead to something which is possibly a discussion for another day. Now, okay, granted I've got Rampage squatting down a little bit here, and Razorclaw is standing proud, but you can see there's differences. And in particular in the aesthetics and the paint used. I did say in my review at the time I felt the red paint on Rampage looked very dull, very cherry-like. You really had to get some light on it to make it pop. But I think when you look at the orange now, compared to say how strong that gold is, there's quite a contrast. And I wonder if Rampage is going to be re-released in an updated colour palette. Because particularly when you look at Dive Bomb, and particularly when you look at Razorclaw, their last 2 offerings, they've seemed to up their game, Cang Toys. They're looking for a stronger, more striking colour palette. That maybe there's more of a dead colour palette with this. So I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if it did. But this, of course, shows you what happens when there is changes to production once production has started. This is the first figure, and this is the 4th figure. And you can see quite a bit of change between now and then. And here he is in his lion mode, and yes, you can tell I've only got 3 feet on the turntable. I'm amazed I got it on the turntable. Damn, that's impressive. That's so impressive. I mean, there's a lot to it, and you can. I think I can see things here that I've knocked out of place by trying to move other stuff in. It's just really, really, really impressive. What can you say? It's just huge. It really, really is big. And I don't mean that just for the cannons. Please take it from me. The cannons do not make or break this figure. It's a great figure in its own right. The transformation is actually quite straightforward. You know, if you've done beast transformation before, you kind of know that legs become legs and they fold around and arms become arms. The only thing I'd say is, and Kato touched on this in his review as well, the tail tab is supposed to tab into the back of the waist, and it does like to come out a little bit. The same can be said for me for the head. It actually plugs into the top of the robot head, which I'm okay with, I'm fine with that, but one knock will untab it. So particularly when you're trying to get stuff cleared up for clearance, it does come undone a little bit. There is clearance issues here, I think it's fair to say, for obvious reasons. And again, don't take this as final form. I've only got it like this for the turntable. I've moved the shoulders back. When I take it off the turntable, you'll see in a bit more spectrum as to how this is looking, but it just looks fantastic. Again, I've got the tail flipped upwards so it doesn't hit the wall, but it is a really, really big figure, and it just looks amazing. Yes, it is very Zoids-like. Of course it is. But again, this is what I think a Cybertronian lion would look like before they even got to Earth. I just think it's gorgeous. The black really shines here, believe it or not. It actually breaks up the gold really well. And you can see more of a G1 element Razorclaw here. I think there is more G1 on offering, even with that very spiky lion mane. But let's get in for a closer look. I mean, just look at that. Look at how impressive that is. That's the entire width of my light box, from tail to turret. And it just looks magnificent. I mean, what can you say? Even looking at this, these kind of rotating cannons, which I believe will form part of the shoulder cannons to give flame effects for Predacons. It's heavy, yes. Tolerances are exceptional. It really holds up really, really well. It's just, there's a little bit of rotation at the head, not an awful lot. You can see how it tabs into the top of the robot head. There is, the only thing I think is a little shame is I love these mains, and you can see it's just come untabbed a little bit there. But they can bump into these. Whether I've actually got these in the right position or not, I'm not entirely sure to say. But it's just majestic. And I cannot fault that gold. I really wish I could tell you. I don't think it picks it up on camera as well. It looks so good in person. I will say this. If any of you are a Predacon fan, and in particular a Razorclaw fan, such as I, this is the Razorclaw you'll need. He looks so pretty. He's so gorgeous. And he will stand out in most people's collections. I'm talking Geiger power scale. I'm talking that kind of chrome finish. This is high-end masterpiece. This is what you're paying the big bucks for. Now, okay, this is no comparison at all, but I wanted to give you a sense of scale here. Here he is alongside Masterpiece, Takara Masterpiece 09 Rodimus Prime in full convoy mode, front and trailer. And if I'm honest, he wins it by a whisker, pun intended. He's longer, fully extended tail to the front of his nose, not a turret. He's longer than Rodimus Prime in full convoy mode. This is big scale, and please think about how big this Predacons going to be. Okay, the only other beast I've got to hand is the recently released Studio Series 86 Sludge. No contest, different scale, but hey, they're both animals, sort of. What I'll simply say is this. I've been absolutely blown away by some Transformers before, but I've always kind of felt once you've had them, you can put them down and you can never look at them again. I think I will be fiddling with this figure and transforming this figure for many years to come. I have been crying out for a Masterpiece Razorclaw. I know I'm a Razorclaw fanboy. He's one of my favourites. Him and Onslaught, in case anyone's wondering. And I just think this is the best offering we've had. And it may actually end up being the best offering we ever get. Think of that. How many people are tackling the Predacons? Hardly anyone. Anyone tackling G1 Predacons? You've got the MMC Feral Rex that's been out for some time. And whilst that's fine, in my opinion, it's showing its age. No one's really had a go since. Doesn't look like Zeta are going to bother either. So the fact that we got this, I just think it's an outstanding offering. And I don't think I'd say that for anyone who would have a go at a Masterpiece Razorclaw. I think this is a very good offering. It's incredibly stylized, of course, but Cang Toys made this decision. If you're either in the Fans Toys camp of G1, for example, or not, you're in this kind of camp instead. I mean, it shows great attention and love for the craft. I really do feel that Cang Toys have stepped up their game. They know what they want to do. Things as simple as the boxes. The fact as well that you can actually just see it just above there, Darius or Darius. I'm not sure I actually got that name right. The wolf foot, the fox foot, the foot, that came free with this. Now that's their fault and they've admitted to that. They knew there was trouble with the design of their Predacons. The Predacons design was not finalised as the set started. It was looking iffy. A lot of people got out because of that. So when they realised there were stability issues, they threw an extra character that turns into a wolf, that also turns into a foot with this. You got that character in essence for free, because certainly what I pay for this, I feel like I've got a character for free. I feel like I've just paid for Razorclaw and I'm very, very happy with it. It will take up space. There's no two ways about it. I think I might need some more cupboards and shelves, but it's just brilliant. I do think Cang Toys really have done themselves proud with this figure. The tolerances, the paint is astounding. One of the best painted figures I've ever seen, ever. I mean, it's just brilliant. It really, really is. And I don't know which mode I want to keep it in. I love them in both. Maybe I'll keep it in this mode for now. But that being said, what is my final review of Kinglion? Nearly. Almost perfect. 4.5 Rodimus Star Badges. Wasn't quite worth the 5 just because of the clearances, just because the tolerances on the tail and that were ever so slightly enough to dock it half a point. If I'm being picky, I could easily have given it 5, but I didn't want to be just a Razorclaw fanboy. I love it. I am so happy with it. I do recommend it. I do recommend this set. And this is when I say, when I look at the rest of them and with him alongside them, and you'll see the photos at the end, I think it's right to stick with this set. I think when it's all said and done, Predacons is going to look immense. We've got 2 more figures to come, and we're nearly there. We'll probably have it done before the year's out, maybe September, maybe October, to have a full-on, very heavy Predacons. This is very heavy. I'm struggling to hold it. I just love it. I absolutely adore it. I think it's been one of the best offerings from a third-party company. Not heavily infringing on a Transformers license, but still looking stellar all the same. It's just fantastic. Maybe could have done with some LED features, but I'm not going to pick on it. I'm really not. This is astounding. And I highly recommend you get it. I'm just going to stare at this for the rest of the day now. And there we go. That is my review of Cang Toys CHIYOU-04, their Kinglion, their version of a Masterpiece Razorclaw. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and hit that subscribe button, because I will see you on the next one.